Hey everyone, I'm Spicy. Getting into Mummies Alive must be either an easy task or a hard one given the obscure background and following of the show, as well as its decent episode count. So, today, we are going to make an episode guide to Mummies Alive, explain what the series is all about, and showcase some of the must-watch episodes for newcomers of the series. And with that, let's get started. Mummies Alive is a Canadian-American animated series released in 1997. It follows the story of Presley, a 12-year-old boy who lives in San Francisco and is the descendant and reincarnation of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. An evil sorcerer named Scarab, who killed the original pharaoh back in ancient Egypt to gain immortality, is now looking for the boy, as his soul would give him 3,000 more years of life. Fortunately, Presley has 4 guardian mummies who are able to power up with their god-given armor and protect their prince from Scarab and many other villains of the series, while they also try to learn our modern ways of life and let go of their ancient past. Mummies Alive has 2 episodes. Of these 2 episodes, 20 is what I would consider essential for viewing and understanding the show's overall plot. The series follows an episodic format, meaning that it doesn't have a large overarching story, but rather small stories with some continuity in each episode. However, themes and character arcs are present in the background that are usually continued or concluded in some episodes. So, we're going to look at some of the must-watch episodes for you to follow the story, as well as some honorable mentions in the end. Starting off, of course, with episode 1 and 2, Rah 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 and Sleepwalk Like an Egyptian. The first episode, as expected, introduces the main plot and characters of the story. We found out about everybody's goals and personalities, as well as the universe that's being set up. It has some beautiful cinematography and animation. The second episode gives us more backstory in our characters and tells the tale of Rapses, the original pharaoh who died in the hands of Scarab back in ancient Egypt, and will later be reincarnated as Presley Carnovan eons later. Great world building episode, and once again, incredible animation. The first 2 episodes are essential for viewing. Moving on to episode 3, Back to the Future, which introduces our first recurring villains, Sen and Anubis. This episode introduced some other major elements of the series' mythos, like the Western Gate, a portal which acts as a bridge between the Egyptian underworld and modern-day Earth, located underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. This episode has a great, dark and gritty atmosphere and look overall. Episode 4, The Gift of Geb, picks up on a story element introduced in the ending of the last episode, in Eclipse, which is crucial to Scarab's plans, and introduces another recurring villain, the colossal deity of Earth, Geb. The characters are further established, and once again, great atmosphere. Although not as important as the first 3 episodes, it acts as a conclusion to them, completing the first 4 episodes as their own little story. Episode 5 is Desert Chick. This episode gives us insight on the female member of the mummies, Nefertina, and fleshes out her character further. It introduces Apep, the snake of the desert, as well as a romance between the 2 characters. We get some minor lore about the backstory of the show, and a lot of great designs and road racing action are featured here. Now, we're actually jumping onto episode 7, Dead Man Walking. Like Desert Chick, this episode focuses on a specific character rather than the whole group. It's unique in the sense that it plays around with the idea of the mummies having to overcome obstacles using their skills and not their powers, in this case, Rath's intellect and ingenuity. The plot is great, with some cool side characters to support it. Episode 8 is Goodbye Mr. Cheops. We are introduced to one of the most powerful and formidable opponents of the show, Chantra, an evil witch who, after being accidentally released from the Western Gate, sets out to destroy her former lover and teacher, Rath. It's definitely one of the best written and best looking episodes of the show, a must watch. Body Slam is the series' 9th episode. This episode is based on the armless mummy and fighter of the group, Armon, and gives us more insight on his character. It also introduces Talos, a giant statue made of bronze with immense power. This is definitely an action-oriented episode with some great visuals throughout. Pause is episode 10 of the series. Its strongest element is the story, as it plays around with the idea of one of the mummies turning evil and the rest of the team arguing over what's the best course of action to take. It also gives some lore behind the powers of the mummies and how the Egyptian gods in this universe work. Moving on to episode 14, Reunion. This episode talks about Presley's connection with his divorced father, Ja-Kal's need to be a father figure for Presley, and the return of Prince Rapses' father, the pharaoh Amenhotep from the Western Gate. Lots of other stuff, lots of story elements. This episode is important for both Ja-Kal and world building as a whole. Before we continue on, if you're enjoying this video thus far, please make sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. We managed to hit more than 1,500 views in less than a month, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. It really does mean a lot. Also, as of the recording of this video, every Mummies Alive episode is free to watch on YouTube in decent quality, so I've left an episode playlist in the description. Now, back onto the episode guide. Episode 16, The Face in the Mirror, brings back said Anubis, who seek to unleash a powerful entity with world-ending abilities called the Eye of Darkness, and it's up to the mummies to stop them from destroying the world. Another episode with greater turning elements and even more world building. Miscast brings back Talos and actually picks up on the episode marking his first appearance. The mummies have to stop Talos, who has grown to gigantic proportions and is threatening to destroy San Francisco. Doesn't sound like much, but this one really takes the cake on some amazing action and animation. It's also great to see a returning plot element yet again. Sleight of Hand is the very next episode. It gives out even more backstory and an excuse for the mummies to fight and defend themselves on their own, rather as a team. It also acts as a small mid-show finale, as it gives some great moments between the mummies, great confrontations with Scarab, and picks up on their weaknesses and disadvantages as reawakened people from a time long ago. Jumping all the way to episode 26, A Dark and Tricky Night. One of the most unique episodes, and what is also believed to be one of the best written ones in the series. The mummies are forced to fight completely without their powers and also interact further with the modern world. Everything here peaks, from action to great character moments, even comedy. This episode doesn't fall short in any way. Episode 30, The Eye of the Beholder. The return of Chantra, and an episode which finally adds even more story to the main characters by getting to know some of the faces close to them from their past a little further. This episode focuses on emotion, showing some of the sadder elements from the show, like the mummies trying to cope with the fact they will never be able to see their loved ones again from their past. Accompanied by some superb writing and visuals, it's another stellar episode. Moving on to the last 5 episodes, with episode 35, True Believer. This episode focuses on the romance between Nefertina and a store clerk named Biggs Bingsley. It's a wholesome episode, and it's cool seeing more of the mummies trying to live like normal people and interact with the everyday world. Biggs also plays a role in the very last episode of the series. My Dad the Hero is episode 37 and argued by some to be the best episode in the whole show. It finally introduces Presley's dad, Paul Carnovan, and shows the relationship he has with his son. It also has one of the greatest final conflicts in the series, with some of the best animation as well. The writing here is superb, with the episode managing to balance action, comedy, and drama perfectly. It deserves all the praise. Finally, episodes 38, 39, and 40 are the show's only multi-part episode arc. This 3-part series introduces Rath, Ja-Kal's brother, who played a major part in the series' events. It also introduces Schemas, Arak's son and Ja-Kal's nephew, who has to pick a side between his father and his uncles. Ja-Kal also deals with the idea that maybe he should start focusing on himself rather than his duties to protect Presley, and questions his role given to him years ago by the pharaoh. Even if they aren't the very final episodes of the show, they serve as a great finale to it and are a perfect point to end the series on. However, if you're still looking for some more Mummies Alive episodes to watch, it's time we move on to the honorable mentions. For the honorable mentions, I'm going to do a speed round, listing a unique point for 10 more great episodes you can check out. Episode 11 introduces Sekhmet, a powerful Egyptian goddess, and is a cool excuse to see the mummies and Scarab working together for a change. Episode 12 is another Sen Anubis episode that focuses on Presley and his task to keep his identity secret for his own safety. Episode 14 transports Prince Rapses into the modern day, and it's cool seeing him interact with his future reincarnation and his former, now undead, guardians. Episode 19 focuses on Ja-Kal being absent from the team, and the rest of the mummies struggling to find leadership, while also trying not to mess up Presley's Halloween party. Episode 23 is a comedy-focused episode where Scarab disguises himself as one of Presley's classmates. Not a serious plot, but definitely a fun one. Episode 24 brings Geb's wife into the mix, the goddess of air, Nut, into what is another comedic episode that focuses on Egyptian mythology. Episode 27 reintroduces Nefertina's romance with Apep, as well as Apep trying to make amends for his past actions. Episode 36 is yet another episode where tons of comedic hijinks ensue. Not much on a story aspect, but it's a good episode where everybody gets to say some good lines. In episode 41, after an accident between Rath and a police officer, the government captures Rath and mistakes him for an alien from outer space. I feel like I don't need to say much else. Finally, episode 42 is a Calypso episode, but it's unique in the sense that not only does it conclude a character arc of a recurring character, but it also brings back Biggs Binkley from episode 35, and it's much more than just a down the memory lane type of episode. And with that, we finished off this episode guide. I hope this makes it easier for people to get into the show. Like I said before, I'd like to remind you to like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and that I've left an episode playlist in the description which you can check out for free right here on YouTube. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and guys, keep kicking tut.